We've been having technical difficulties, so I am so sorry. But good evening tonight. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Tina Dawson, owner of True Blue Designs. And it is thoroughly, you got to laugh. You got to laugh at yourself. It is truly an honor to be before you this evening. We are celebrating 13 years of being in business. I had my song to play, but again, we will have some technical difficulties, so I'm sorry about that. Please like and share and let everyone know that we're on the air. You can view us live on Facebook and on YouTube at True Blue Designs. You see it there. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just frazzled tonight. You see my beautiful background. I got my balloons. We are celebrating 13 years of being in business. I just want to say thank you to all of our customers and clients that have supported us over the years. We could not have done it without you. And we have a special guest on tonight. He is the founder of the Greek Comedy Tour. He goes by the name of Christopher Columbus. He has always supported True Blue Designs. He supported me. I am so thankful for his friendship. I am so thankful for his love. He knows he can call me and I'm going to be right there. So we're going to bring on Christopher Columbus so he can talk to us and we can catch up with him to see how he's been over the years. He was here last year and he came back to celebrate with us. So hold on, I'm going to bring on Chris. Hey, you.
Tina, what's going on? Happy 13 years. We're going to do this every year, Tina.
Yeah.
We're going to do this every year.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I know you had technical difficulties, but I still want you to play your happy song and dance.
Okay. Let me play my song. Okay.
I want to see your happy song and dance.
Let me play my song. Look, we just going to have to go over tonight.
Right.
You been good? How's the family?
I'm good. While we talking right now, my oldest daughter just called right here on FaceTime. And
really?
I don't even know what you're doing.
Tell her to log on. Let me find my song. Look, I'm so frazzled. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's turn up. I'll call you back. Go Tina, go Tina, go Tina, go Tina, go Tina, go. Hey! It's a celebration. Hey! Hey, Tina!
Go, Chris! Go, Chris! Go, Chris! Go, Chris!
Yeah!
Hey!
Man, you gotta celebrate all celebrations.
Yes,
you gotta celebrate all celebrations.
Yes. Thank you for that. I needed that.
There you go, man. That calm down, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorite songs. That JT, the heads. When I was a kid, I used to want a jerry curl just like him. I want a jerry curl just like him. It just wouldn't take, though. It just wouldn't take. You know what I'm saying? But
I had one a long time ago.
Yeah? Nah, I ain't take it, man. I ain't take it. My mom was like, you don't want me to comb it? Keep it low so you brush it. So I kept it low.
For real. I don't know how people walk around with all this hair on their head.
I feel you.
I don't. So listen, it's been a year since the last time we saw you, and I want to publicly thank you for setting up everybody for me. We had a good time. So last year we started with you.
Right.
Then we had I can't remember in order, but I know we had Lab Love.
Yep, Steve Brown.
And Kelly Kells.
Right. And Kelly Kells, yeah. And everybody's career is doing really well right now.
That's good.
Everybody's doing really well right now.
So how's the Greek Comedy Tour been?
Greek Comedy Tour is doing good. I think since last year we started, we've been back on the road now, but we still doing a lot of virtual stuff. So we just working on promotional stuff, just getting out, letting people giving the word that we are able to travel and do virtual. And also, if you're familiar with DJ Chanel B, me and DJ Chanel B are now offering virtual karaoke to chapters for fundraisers and stuff. So it's a fun night, man. Still get anything, man. So like I say, look me up. You can email me at info at the Greek Comedy Tour, man, and we'll love to come to your city. Or if it got to be virtual, but prefer to come to your city and have a good time, man. It's a great comedy show, man. And you don't have to be Greek to attend the show. I know it says Greek, and people think like, well, I'm not Greek. We're not telling Greek jokes for 2 hours. We're not telling Greek jokes.
No.
Comedians are just Greek affiliated, whatever. They probably shout out their organization, but the rest of it is a regular comedy show.
Right. So let me ask you this though, because I know you do a lot for different organizations and their conferences, but you'll do a birthday party, you'll do an anniversary party. So tell everybody about that. There's
we do any event, man. If you like if you know, so we do repasses. If you've been baptized, if for your third or fourth time, whatever you want, man. If you need any kind of comedic relief, like one of my close friends get married this weekend. I got somebody come in and do comedy between the wedding and the reception party or whatever. We do family reunions and that kind of stuff, man. Like I said, we got over 15 different comedians, man. Come on, man. We'll have a good time. You know what I'm saying? We'll tell jokes all night.
Wow. Yeah. And I wanted you to make sure that you talked about that because like you said, with the word Greek, in 2014, I had to rebrand the company because I had True Blue Greek Designs, and like you said, everybody thought that's all I did was Greek. So I took the Greek out, and that's why I got True Blue Designs. And then from there, it just took off. But yeah, I think people need to understand that the comments may be affiliated with a Black organization, and that's where you get your comedians from. But the content is not.
Right. And the Greek Comedy Tour is like the ultimate NPAC event. When the NPAC are doing events or whatever, it's like an organization heavy. It may be an Omega event, maybe a Sigma event, and that's it. But we come, man, we'll bring 3 or 4 comedians from all different organizations. We're not going to bring the whole D9 because we'll be there all night. And we'll just have a good time, man, and we'll just enjoy and turn up, man. Hopefully everybody enjoy themselves. And the main thing, man, that we raise money. For the scholarships giveaway, because I don't care what organization you are, we all got to raise money and give it away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If not, them local dudes going up. Local dudes going up. But you go get that money away, and you go keep it away. So you might well raise some money so to make it less, And then we got a Greek Comedy Tour just to help a lot of chapters out, whatever, because you got people out there still washing cars, selling cake. Saying some people don't get too creative. We're trying to do it a fundraising, and then it's some. I don't care who. You know how it is. That chapter, they don't care who it is. No matter what they say, they say we could bring Jesus here to preach Sunday, and them people chatting, nah. They'll vote it down. They'll shoot it down just because of who it is or whatever. So, but we just giving people different options, man, of fundraising.
Yeah, hold on. Let me send. I sent him the wrong email. Hold on. Let me send him the other email.
Well, Ron.
He's ready to log in, but I'm gonna send him the other email. I sent him the wrong one. Hold on.
That's my dude.
I'm gonna let you talk for a minute. I'm gonna get him the link. Okay.
Go ahead. Hey, so now. But anything, man, with the Greek Comedy Tour, you can follow me on social media, man. You can follow me up on IG. I'm Columbus 1914. You already know what 1914 stands for. And also I'm up on the Greek Comedy Tour. And then on Facebook, I'm up on the Greek Comedy Tour, and my personal page is Christopher Columbus whenever I'm out in Facebook jail. But bring us to the city, man. Like I said, we have 15 different comedians. We do state conferences, local chapter, regional conferences, conclaves, boules, what else we do? Like I said, anything, man. You just finished paying your child support. You just paid your house off. Any reason you want to celebrate, man, you call us, have a good time, man. Yeah, but those stuff we on. Our website is www.thegreekcomedytour.com. For you older Greeks that's out there that's over 60 on MySpace, we are we're like make you laugh.com, man. So We're here to have a good time, man. We're going to turn up tonight, man. We got Tina, and we got one of our special guests for you tonight that you're going to be really enjoying, man. I know you guys enjoyed Nicole Blue last week, and this week, man. Well, this week and next week, we got two special guests, man. I think next week we got somebody from Wild 'N Out, and this week, man, we got somebody from NBC Last Comin' Standing, and he was in a Super Bowl commercial, and he's a member of the greatest fraternity of all, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, man. So I guess you guys just stay tight, man. We about to have everything as Tina get them linked up, man, to bring everything going. Sorry for the delay. I'm holding it down for Tina. Hey, bam. Hey, well, since y'all there, and maybe I know it's like, what is the 20-something February? Let me give y'all my cash out, because you know what I'm saying, waste of time, whatever you want to see me, a cash out, whatever. Pay me a thing, whatever, get my beard done, get a haircut, or anything you need. Let me know. True Blue Designs, anything you need. Hit Tina up. She got you. She got t-shirts. I think she got thongs. She got the pins for the older Greeks who can't walk, take care of themselves. You need legal advice. You can help her out or whatever. If you're going through, again, a PPP loan and you're in trouble. My granddad got a PPP loan at 90 years old. And, you know, he got all the stuff he wanted to get that he never had before. He got liposuction. He went and got some braces. He put brand new tennis balls on his walker. So, hey, he's good to go, man. He's good. Tina, you ready? I think we got Tina coming on through in a minute. Well, make sure y'all like, follow, share this video. Make sure y'all send out to all your friends and everything. Are you good? You muted. Tina, you muted.
This is gonna be a funny video. You hear me? Because everything is going crazy tonight.
I got it.
Listen, before we let you introduce
right
tonight's guest, let me say from the bottom of my heart, Chris, thank you. Thank you for always supporting me. You know I'm only a phone call away.
I appreciate it.
You call me, I'll drop it in the mail.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. I got it.
So thank you. I love you dearly, sweetie.
Love you too, Mom.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back on, let you introduce tonight's guest.
Oh, something went up. Can you see me?
Yeah, I'm getting off.
Okay, all right. All right, everybody, ready for your main event, man, for your headliner, the funniest man interview. They're saying he is, man, one of the funniest brothers I know, man. You're ready to be entertained, man. You seen him on Last Comin' Standing. You seen him on Insecure. And if you watched the Super Bowl this week, you saw him in one of the biggest Super Bowl commercials, man. And he's a member of one of the greatest fraternity of all, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Give it up for my brother, the host of Chocolate Sundays in LA, Mr. Ron G.
Let me in this thing. What's up, bro? How you doing? Y'all don't let me in here. Stop playing. She done sent me all the wrong links.
Look at that.
We were having technical difficulties, so you were actually right on time.
Hey, she sent me wedding invitations and all kind of links to a bunch of stuff that ain't had nothing to do with this show. I'm like, why are you sending me this?
And you just
like, I need your sizes. I need your waist size. I need your pant size, your shoulder, and your jacket size. And make sure you put your hat size. I'm like, I thought this was an interview.
Bro, you can't talk about me like that.
She sent me a grocery list, directions to her church. I'm like, you just send me the link to the show. What are we doing? She done sent me recipes. I'm like, why are we? She done sent me recipes, her shoe size, her favorite gospel song. Oh, all the words to her favorort gospel album. I'm like, why you sending me these links?
Her MySpace, you put you in her MySpace top 8, everything, what?
Don't talk about me too bad, Ron. You just met me.
Chris, she sent me her prescription. I'm like, wait, what? You got mesothelioma? What kind of medicine is this?
You know, why is she drinking this?
All these antibiotics? What are we doing?
Y'all man.
She done sent me her blood pressure medicine, her sugars. She got the sugars, everything.
You got Chris leaving the show.
Hey, Chris, she done sent me all the recipes and medications. What is all this?
Information about you, Ron, so I can properly interview you.
I'm talking about just now. I was trying to get the link.
I
highlighted the link.
Hey, she sent me a link that told me what Gomar mean. I'm like, what the hell?
Like, how did she know this? What? She got her 23andMe results. She done sent me her 23andMe results.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she 2% Irish. I'm like, wait, why am I looking at all this? Why am I looking at all this? Y'all so hilarious. What's up, people?
Hey, how you doing?
There you go, bro. Y'all have a good time.
All right, are you gonna hang around, Chris? Backstage? Okay.
Chris muted himself. He said, I'm done. I'm over all this. You saw how he just muted and disappeared? He didn't say bye, cat, dog, or nothing.
Oh my goodness. Ron, thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
being
you.
on tonight's show. I'm gonna put your information down at the bottom. Thank you so much for being on tonight's show. We are celebrating 13 years of being in business. When I first started in 2009, the name of the company was True Blue Greek Designs. And I had service just Sigmas and Zetas only. It was just strictly Greek. And
Right.
then him and I was just talking about how I had to rebrand myself in 2014 because the name kind of limited me. You know, a lot of people thought that that's all I did was nail you. They would come up to me and say, hey, do you know somebody who, and I'm like, I do that. Well, I didn't think that you did. So I
do that. That's so funny.
So I rebranded myself in 2014, and the company's name now is True Blue Designs. And now people, you know, do churches, schools, some of everything. So it's a custom apparel and accessory company. That's awesome. And I just want to say thank you for sharing and celebrating our anniversary with us. This has been a treat. This is going to be a treat. You know, when I put your flyer out to say that you were going to be the guest on the show, people were like, oh man, he's funny. He's funny. He's funny. But then I looked up and saw that you became a member, that I'm skipping now, but you became a member of Phi Beta Sigma at the University of South Carolina with Kappa Iota chapter in 1994.
The chapter?
What year did you come in?
Oh, I'm not telling you that. That messed with my money.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm KI. KI to the day I die.
Correct?
Huh?
Kappa Iota?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, because I saw their probate show that they had for 2021, and I was watching the probate show. Are you familiar with the crab crack?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we do. We do crab cracks and fish fries.
Okay, so listen, this is so exciting to me because one of our fraternity brothers was in the South Carolina chapter, alumni chapter. Mm-hmm. And he invited me to go down to the crab crack one year, and I have not missed a year. And they were saying that it started as them being undergrads trying to find a way to raise money for scholarship, which I think is a very unique idea. Right. And it started in somebody's house in their driveway, he said, and then it just blew over the years up to what it is today. And
it's probably Brent Whitesides.
Huh?
I think it was Brent Whitesides because I know he always put it in our group chat about frat business. And he mentioned the crab crack. So it's either Rip or Brent.
Okay, yeah. And I it's just amazing to me that we're about to go to the crab crack next month and you're associated with the crab crack. So
I wish I could go. I would love to go. The gas money just to get there is too expensive. Because plane gas is different from car gas, and car gas is expensive, but plane gas is really expensive.
I believe it because we're up to I think we was up to $4.50 a gallon here in Atlanta.
Whatever that is, that's cute. In LA, it's $6.49 for regular.
Are you serious?
For regular. So whatever number you throw at me, it's cute, but it's a cute little number. 5 something sound cute. We was at 5 something that's regular.
Wow. Yeah, and I apologize because I told Chris, I said, you didn't tell me he was on the West Coast. So when you called me, I was thinking South Carolina. I just immediately thought that you were on the East Coast.
No,
but
I'm definitely on the West Coast.
I appreciate it. Well, if you don't mind, we'll start the interview off by you telling the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Man, I don't even know where to start. I did so much stuff. I was born and raised Columbia, South Carolina. Finished school, moved to Atlanta, kind of figured my life out, went through my I call it the quarter life crisis, where you go to school for something but your heart tell you something different. Got on stage, got booed, fell in love. They told me to kill myself. Moved to LA, booked my first commercial audition ever for Checkers and Rally's restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, my first commercial audition ever. Then I wound up doing Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes, Last Comic Standing. Man, I've done so much cool stuff. I'm an Emmy Award winner. I'm currently on a TV show with MC Light called Partners in Rhyme. I just booked another movie where that's why I had a fitting for earlier, which is why I'm late. Apologize for being late. I shot another short film 2 weeks ago where I'm the lead and it's a drama. And I got another movie coming out with Machine Gun Kelly. And I booked another national commercial that should air during the playoffs, NBA playoffs. So I got cool stuff happening.
Congratulations. That is just awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations. Seriously.
I appreciate it.
But we're going to go backwards. So we're going to talk first about you were saying that you booked a commercial for Checkers and Rallies.
Yep. It was it's the same company, like Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
Okay. Yeah. So talk a little bit about the journey to that. How did that come about?
So I moved to LA. I didn't know. I knew one person, which was my frat brother. He went to Clemson.
Okay.
And I came out here to visit because I got a job over the phone. And I met him and I was like, hey, bro. He said, what you doing out here? I said, yo, I'm trying to find a place to stay. He said, where you want to stay? I was like, I just got a job in Culver City. He said, that's crazy. I just bought a condo in Culver City. You can stay with me. I won't even charge you half. I was like, no way. And it was literally a mile from where my job was. That was the first thing. Yeah. So I used to work in Long Beach. No, I just worked in Culver City. Got fired from that job too. Got fired from every job I ever had. And I wanted to get another job in Long Beach. And Long Beach job was an accounting job. I used to be an accountant before I started doing comedy. Okay. And it was really good money. It was the most money I've ever made at a job. And during that time, I had met a friend who's like, my friend is an agent and she's looking for some new clients. Would you like to, be one of her clients? I'm like, yeah, that's why I moved out here. So first audition ever was Checkers and Rally's restaurant. And I just got my job in Long Beach. I think I was there for like maybe a month and some change. Mm-hmm. And I had to lie and tell my boss that my car broke down and I'll be there a little late. But I went to the audition. And I went to the audition. And one of my biggest fears at the time was reading in public. I don't like reading in public because I talk really fast. And my mind process faster than my words come out. And I remember standing in front of that it's a big board with all the words on it, and I had to run the lines. And so this guy came in. He was a polished actor. He was like, "Try our cheeseburgers. They're delicious. You're gonna love them. With sesame seed bun, ketchup, lettuce. They're delicious with every bite." Yeah, I'm like, oh, that was kind of formal. And so I went up there trying to read in public, and I'm about to have a whole panic attack. Like, hey, try our cheeseburgers. They're delicious. What is that? Oh, they got cheese on them. They got ketchup, mustard. It's gonna be a good time. Get it? Yeah. And the next day, the lady was like, they love you. They want you to be the spokesperson. And I was like, oh, that's great, but I can't do it. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, one, I just got a new job. And two, my mom was coming next week. And I don't know if I could, flake on my mom like that. It's her first time on a plane. She got to, And so I called the lady back. I said, I can't do it. She said, look, Ron, this is the face of a restaurant. You don't want to do this. I was like, all right, cool. So she said, can you be in Miami next week? So I called my mom. I said, Mom, look, I know you're coming here next week. If I find somebody to look after you while you're here for the couple of days I'm in Miami, would you be cool? And she was like, isn't that why you moved to LA? And I was like, yeah. I just got out here. And I was like, all right, cool. And so then I had to talk to my boss. This was the transitional moment. This is the defining moment that I had to really make a decision on. So I knew I was new at the job. I didn't have no vacation time. And I had walked and asked my boss. I said, hey, Miss Mary, look, I kind of sort of booked a commercial in Miami. Do you mind if I take off next week? And she was like, look, I'm gonna just say this. You ain't been here long enough to be asking me for no time off. So if you're not here Monday, you're fired. And I was like, oh, this is why I came out here. Okay. And this is only one gig. So I'm like, So I went to Miami and I think we shot 6 commercials total. And I have not worked a 9 to 5 since May of 2006.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you took the leap is what Steve Harvey talks about, this jump.
I did. Now I done had some lean months where I'm eating grits, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I made it. I'm still here.
but it was all worth it. I would say, when you look back, you would say that, you taking the leap was all worth it, right? Because I think all those bad times or lean times, when you put that together with everything else, it made you the man you are today.
Right, right. And I think too, God does this thing where He doesn't give us all the details
That's
when He tell
right.
you to do something. He told Adam, He said, Abraham, He said, "Go to the land
Hmm.
I'll show you." He didn't
Hmm.
say, "I'll show you, then then you can go." He was like, "Go to the land I'll show you." And
Right.
so, if He gave me all the details, I probably would have stayed home and just been a hilarious school teacher and be miserable.
Right. Yeah. 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 That is awesome. Oh, wow. So let me ask you this. So what was it that drew you to the life of comedy?
I think because I tried to live the formula, and the formula was trash. The formula is you go to school,
Mm.
you get a good degree, you get a job, you get married, you make babies, you retire, you die. And I tried it, and every time I got a job, I would get fired. I even got fired from the temp service. My name tag was still wet, and they sent me home. And I was like, I just got here, and it's like, yeah, but they said you should just go home right now. And I was like, I keep getting fired, and this feels stupid. I don't know what to do. And I wouldn't like in my head, the formula was again like I was an accountant. I was probably the only male graduate in my family on both sides of my family. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So
wow.
I'm wearing a suit to work. My parents are blue collar, so I thought that was a goal. But when the goal
Mhm.
didn't work out, I'm like, I got to figure something else out. And so during that time when I was trying to figure my life out, and I was going to this job I hate, my cousin Trey Black, shout out Trey Black, comedian in Atlanta, Georgia. He was like, "Yo, you hilarious. You should try doing stand up." And he was a comedian at the time. He was really good comedian. And I used to watch him perform, and he used to go to Uptown Comedy Club on Sunday nights. It was Apollo night, and it was
Okay.
brutal. It was brutal sitting in that audience, even though I wasn't performing at the time, and I'm watching him. I'm like, I'm watching people dreams go to die. I'm watching people suicide watch. Like, this is a lot. And this is a place where if they boo you, they turn the music on. They do boo grenades. Boo grenade is when they in back, the whole back wall be like, boo, like they boo you, they walk you to your car and boo you too, like it was bad. um but I got on stage and I got booed, and a light came on, and I'm like, you know what, I like this. And I had to figure out how to turn it into a career, because it's pre-Tyler Perry, and I know it doesn't
Okay.
make sense to get booed, somebody tell you to kill yourself and you want to go back for more. Makes no sense at all, makes no sense. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I think I did a stand-up comedy." And she was like, "Okay, well, do they pay for you? They pay you to get booed?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, why you do it?" And I was like, "I like it." And I just stuck with it. I fell in love. And about 8 months into it, I got my first standing ovation at a military base at Fort Benning.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I got my first standing ovation. And I was like, okay, maybe I got something. And then for some reason, I felt like God told me I should move. He said, "You're going to be a great comedian one day, but what are you going to do about it?" And I was like, "I'm going to move." And I ain't know nobody in LA.
Hmm.
And my dad called me and he said, "I put some money in your account. Uh, I don't know. I just feel like you're supposed to have some money." And I used that money to go fly to LA. And that's when I met my frat brother who I told you about.
Right.
Everything came together.
Right. Right. Let me ask you this. How important would you say it is for you to follow your dreams? Because sometimes, Ron, um, those that are closest to you don't really understand it, but you know in your Noah that
Yep.
you're supposed to do XYZ, right?
Yep.
And so, sometimes it's really important for you to follow your dreams, even though nobody else understands. How would you say important that is for people who are looking and aspiring to do things in their life, and sometimes they're just afraid?
Being afraid is normal. But I also feel like every moment you delay your walking in your purpose, somebody missed God. Because
Mm,
as humans, our relationship with each other is like our tangible version of God being in our life. Like
right.
in marriage, your wife, your husband is supposed to be a tangible version of God's love in your life. You know what I'm saying? Which is a
Mhm.
love that most people don't experience. And it's hard to find a partner. But for
Right.
me, I know that me finding my purpose was attached to something that was bigger than me. And my
Mhm.
normal, I think the human nature is I'm doing this thing so I can get money. But the spiritual side of it is I'm doing this to change a generation and how they view themselves. And I want to be the thing that's missing from the generation that changes a whole um, a whole generation of people and how they think about comedy and what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a
Right.
clean comedian too. I don't really announce it, but I'm a clean comedian. I do a lot of stuff with my wife, and I feel like, my generation, we haven't had great examples of what marriage looks like, a healthy marriage looks like, and we
Right.
get a chance to define what that looks like for our generation. So I feel like those few niches is like my passion. Like I love stand up, but is that noise?
No, I don't. Yeah, it's faint. It's not loud.
Okay, I feel like these people are blowing a weed eater in my house. All right, cool. If I need to, I'll close this door.
Okay.
Yeah. Please let me know. But yeah, I just feel like I love comedy, but relationship stuff, men finding their purpose, and me helping kids find out why they're here on their planet, and people being directed toward their path is like a part of my calling and why I'm here. I did a TED talk too for kids calling "Making Your Weirdo Work for You." So literally, as a kid, all the things that made me weird as a kid now make me a lot of money in comedy or in acting or entertainment. You wonder why you have all these childhood wounds and scars, and then I shot a movie where I had to pull from that stuff in order to do great in the movie. And so it's like everything kind of made sense. It came 360. Like when you stay in your purpose long enough, all the mistakes, all the heartaches, the pain, all the scabs, the bruises, all that stuff makes sense eventually. Especially if you do the work. You're a student of life and you're taking it in versus like, why me, God, versus like, no, why not me? You chose me for a specific time.
That's
to
right.
change the generation, and all these are necessary. This pain is my boarding pass to get on a plane to where I got to go.
Right. And I love what you said. If you stay in your purpose long enough, that is powerful.
I'm so glad he didn't tell me everything I had to go through, because I would be scared.
Yeah.
I would be terrified. If he told me everything, like, hey, look, you're going to leave your family. You're going to miss a lot of important dates. You're going to miss out on your parents getting older. You're going to miss out on your family growing up, kids growing up. You're probably going to get married much later because you're in a place where don't nobody care about religion and don't nobody care about family. Like, it's just if he told me that up front, I probably would have ran and be like, nah, that's too much.
Wow. Yeah. So you mentioned that you were married. So
I'm 3 years. I'll be 3 years next month.
Congratulations.
Hey, I'm a whole emergency contact.
That's true.
I'm somebody permanent emergency contact. Never thought I'd be there. Forever.
So how important is it for you to have...
Oh, let me close this window. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I know we're recording. That is so loud.
That's all right. You gonna close the window?
I never hear it until I start getting on a Zoom show. Like I never. This is the quietest neighborhood ever. As soon as I get on people shooting and fighting, fireworks, it ain't even July.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Now I hear the
sorry about that.
Now I hear the difference once you close the window.
Oh man, it sounds like he was in my living room blowing leaves.
So how important is it to you to have a supportive mate?
Man, LA is a lonely city. It's a very densely populated city, but it's also lonely. And I think you get to a point where you outgrow a lot of stuff in your life, and sometimes you can not on purpose outgrow your family and your friends. Meaning, I live a life that's so uncommon. So my average day, I can go to work and meet Kevin Hart and David Chappelle, like just on a Tuesday, just because I'm going to work. Or, me and my wife, we go on trips a lot. Like just during the week, we'll go on a trip. We're like, hey, you want to go to Cabo? We'll go. And that life is not common. So sometimes you don't have a lot of people that will understand your pain, especially like I grew up in the Bible Belt. And sometimes people's life is work, church, and home. My life is work, church, hang out, birthday party, hang out, work. Like it's not normal. So all the you shoulds from a small town don't work in a big city like LA, because there's a lot of you shoulds, but the you shoulds don't translate.
Right.
Yeah, but my wife is, I feel like in doing what I do, if you don't have stability or some sense of home or a reminder that you're here for something bigger than you, like the city will take you out.
Yeah. And I've heard some people say that you have to have I was going to say a spouse, but a companion that is strong within themselves, right? And that they can hold their own. They have stuff going on in their lives, right? So their whole world is not all tied up into you, and then they can be there for you, as to be a sounding board or just as a person of support, right?
Yeah.
And it's important because sometimes when we have a significant other and they don't have anything going on, they can kind of like lose their identity into who that person is that they're supporting.
Yep. So one reason why I love my wife is she helped me make a lot of big boy decisions because I feel like you get to a place when, especially in this business, I have to make a lot of big boy decisions like often. And I dated girls, so I'm like, I would test them. I'm like, hey, I got this thing coming up. What do you think I should do? And one thing, my pet peeve, I hate generic advice. If you don't know, just say I don't know. Don't be like, well,
Yeah.
keep your head up and look forward, okay? And just trust God. Do you be yourself? Don't look back, look forward, and just keep walking and keep walking. And you walk and you look forward and keep your head up, and you just keep on praying and do you and be your best self. I'm like, you have nothing. What are you talking about? And sometimes churches be talking this. I'm like,
Yes.
yo, like people go through real problems, and I like being around people who, even if you ain't have the reference, you got your own reference point for something
Right.
that's similar, and you can give me advice important to me too.
Mhm.
And my wife, she always helped me make a lot of major decisions. Every time I asked her a question, she always had an answer or a reference point. I'm like, yo, that's super dope. And between I think the women and the hours that I work,
Yeah.
every woman ain't built for this. Like just
Right.
because I'm a popular guy and I host a really popular show in Hollywood, I'm around a lot of women, and everybody ain't built for that.
Right.
You like the benefits of it, but you ain't necessarily built for that. And the hours too. I got stripper hours. So me having these stripper hours ain't the easiest for somebody who is emotionally needy. It ain't the easiest.
That's true. But say that again. You said that you want the fruit of it, but you're not built for it.
Oh yeah, everybody. It looked good to be. Everybody want to be Michelle Obama, but can you handle Obama's tears?
Yeah.
Everybody want to be first lady, but can you handle the pastor's tears?
Yeah.
I've
You
seen
don't-
churches
you
fall
don't-
apart because the pastor ain't had nobody to talk to, and
Yeah.
everybody wanted to talk to him, but he ain't had nobody to really talk to. And can you
Yeah.
really handle a grown man's ugly?
That's true.
You say you want the truth, but can you handle
Can you
the
really handle?
grown man ugly?
Yeah.
Somebody who's in position that everybody loves and adores. Can you really handle their truth?
Mm-hmm. And it takes a strong person to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. You have to be
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, I totally agree. You had mentioned that you were currently hosting a show. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I host a show in LA called Hollywood called Chocolate Sundays. I've been the host there for like 7 years. Might even be more than that, but it's the longest running, most diverse comedy show in the nation, and I would say it's the best comedy show in the world.
Chocolate Sundays.
Not just because I host it, but I just feel like it's a good vibe, it's a good environment, and it's just long running. They've cultivated an environment where you go there and have a good time. So if you're in LA, you're in Hollywood on a Sunday, Chocolate Sundays is the name of the show, and I am the host.
Right. Okay. Because I was going to ask you if it's a local show or was it on air, but it's local.
Yeah, it's local.
It's local. Okay. So how did you meet Chris?
How did I meet him?
Yeah.
I think I met him in LA. He came to the show. That's when we first connected, but then we just stayed close. And like once we found out we was friends, like it was all family then. I'm really proud of that guy, man. Like the brand he's created and the energy that he cultivates when he does these shows and hosts them. Like I'm super proud of it.
Yeah. Now you also mentioned that you are a clean comedian.
I am.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And the reason why is because now I may be a little bit outdated, but the only other person that I know of that really advertised that was Sinbad.
Yeah.
So both of you are a testament that you could get your point across and help and create an atmosphere of laughter without going to the left or to the right. So why did you choose to be a clean comedian?
I chose to be a clean comedian because when I curse, I used to get booed. So back when I was cussing, I used to get booed off the stage. I was like, you know what? But the truth is, I met this older comedian named Jerry Farber out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a comedian. He was 30 years in the game then.
Wow.
Whole comedy legend. And it was like right around the time I was trying to figure my life out because I was going through my little crisis. and he was like, "Yo, like you're a good looking guy. Why do you curse so much?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like that's what everybody do. You know what comedians do?" And he was like, "You ain't got to curse so much to be funny." And I got saved right around the time I got funny. And I remember I went back to the place that I got booed at and told me to kill myself when I kind of figured out what comedy was. And I went back and I did like 5 minutes and killed it. My first time in this environment because I was so nervous about this show. The show was on Sunday. I would be scared on Friday. I'm like, man, if I get off work, man, it's like one more day away. I'm gonna get booed. And I went back to the place that booed me, and I did really well. And then I feel like God was talking to me. He was like, "Hey, look, yeah, you did a great job of not cursing on stage, but you still curse off stage." And he said, "You know you hard on church people. You know you hard because I was raised in the church." I was like, he said, "You know you hard on church people, and if a pastor did what you did, would you judge them? If a pastor did curse in the pulpit, but they cursed off stage, would you judge them?" I was like, "Absolutely." He said, "So what makes you any different?" I was like,
Wow.
So that was the beginning of me like having convictions. I was like, I don't want to be mastered by anything, my words, you know, my diet or like just my lifestyle. I want to be in control and like always like make that a priority.
You know what? And I like what you said when you were mentioning about the gentleman that spoke with you, and you said, you know, well, that's what everybody does. And he was like, you do not have to do that to be
Change my life.
Right. And it
Change
just
my life.
You don't have to go down the road everybody else is going down.
And I don't shame nobody who do it. I don't mind. But I also realized
I totally understand. Yeah.
I also realized when I was around my mom, I instantly stopped cursing. And I'm like, oh, I'm not being myself. You know, people that I respect, I just stopped cursing naturally. I'm like, why would I stop doing that? This is who I am, you know? So I was like, I want to be my authentic self at all times. And so when I changed it up, that's when everything kind of took off. And the funny part is I didn't realize that commitment wouldn't make sense until I did a show on Nickelodeon. I played a dad on a Nickelodeon show. And when they hired me, they was like, yo, we didn't know what kind of comedian you were, but then we did a little research and we found out like you're the perfect guy. And you don't have to like it was like it just made everything made sense. It was like, you know, Nickelodeon, their brand is very specific, you know, and usually they make you take down all your stuff on social media. It's like, nah, we rock with you. We like what you're doing. So you were perfect for this job. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Isn't that something? And then you also just, another thing I just thought about is that somebody's always watching. And we have to remember that, right? We have to watch what we post and what we put up because you are your brand, right? And so the things that you say, the things that you put up, you know, that ties into who people think that you are. And if you don't want people to categorize you in a certain way, you have to watch how you advertise and you put your brand out. So
I agree.
Somebody's always watching.
Somebody always watching.
Yeah. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you went from comedy into film? What was that journey like?
Man. I know that in order to be a great comedian, you have to do TV. You got to do TV and films. Like all the greats, they were great at stand-up, but doing movies puts you in a different plateau and gives you the visibility that most don't have. So for me, I always knew I was going to be an actor, but I knew comedy came first. And I think just because I won't say mastered comedy, that I get all these other opportunities for doing so. You know, so my first big role was this movie. I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want people to support it. I don't want people to support it because the director, he did some really slick stuff. Like he fired the executive producer of the show who wrote it. He fired the director on the last shot and took credit for everything he did.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I don't support that. So I don't really bring it up. But that one, I auditioned for it. They kind of found me. They went for somebody else, and the other person wasn't available because they didn't like the script. And I was like, I'll do it. And it was actually a pretty cool film. That was the first thing I ever did, but now it's like this is what I do. This short, I just shot a short film called Terry. I can't wait for you to see it. It's a drama, not one joke in it, and I am crying my eyes out back to back days. So for me to be an actor and finally get the role that, you know, it's like one of those roles that you want to know if you can really do it. Like this was one.
How important is it for you or for someone to be versatile? Because you'll have some people that'll say, I'm a comedian and that's it. That's all that I do. But you've been very versatile because when I looked at your body of work, you know, like you said, you've done Nickelodeon. You talked about working with Martin Lawrence. You were a finalist on the Kevin Hart Presents. You know, how important is for someone to be versatile?
I think it just comes down to being a student of life. Like I'm always working on myself. And I just feel like God keep presenting me with stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, you comfortable, but don't get too comfortable. I got something else for you." And each one is like a different. I feel like I'm at the bottom of the next level with that acting thing. Like I could have did the acting thing any other time, but this is the time that when they wrote the script, it was like, "We had you in mind." I was like, "You had me in mind? I'm a comedian." It was like, "Yeah, but for something about you, we knew you was ready for it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. Let's talk about you being let's talk about you working with Martin Lawrence. You had mentioned to me that you had worked with Martin Lawrence. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, he had a TV show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a TV show called Martin Lawrence First Amendment, and it was a stand-up comedy show presenting like the next generation of comics. Okay. And I had a chance to perform on it. It was in DC, and I met him after the show, and he's like, "You funny boy." And I was like, "Yo, like, yo, that's the one."
Yeah, right.
That's the one. When you grow up watching somebody, you've only seen this person on TV, and you see them in person, they tell you you're funny, you like, all right, I might have some. So that was a really great experience.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you were a finalist on Kevin Hart Presents. Talk a little bit about that.
That was actually a stand-up special where you do your 30-minute special. And I had a chance to do my 30-minute special produced by Kevin Hart, Heartbeat Productions, and it was a good time. That was my first stand-up special, which was 30 minutes. And it was a really good time because the year before, I feel like I wasn't ready. I could have done it, but I'm very specific about how I present myself. And I hosted the year before. Sorry, I hosted and did warm up the year before, so I can kind of get the feel of what the crowd in the room feels like. So when I came back the second year, I was prepared, and it was a good time.
Wow. And so how was it working with Kevin? Is he down to earth?
Kevin was amazing. He's probably one of the most gracious, brilliant, hardest working people I've ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
Yep, because I've seen him all, like he comes by Chocolate Sundays too, the venue I said I host on Sundays. And one time he came, my mom was in town, and my mom was like, "Can I get a picture with him?" I was like, "Let me go ask." It was like, "Of course." And like my mom, she just went nuts having a picture with Kevin Hart. She went nuts because she couldn't wait to tell her coworkers that she got a picture with Kevin Hart at her son's job. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good time. But yeah, he's an awesome guy.
You said, "Let me go ask."
I want to be respectful. Sometimes people be in their zone, so I'll be respectful.
You know, it's mama. You know he was gonna. He seemed like he just has a good heart.
He does.
I like Kevin Hart, and I like his body of work. I like how he transitioned from being a comedian into television and film, and I follow him a lot. And I love a lot of the projects that he says yes to in his body of work. Is there anything or any topic? Either a story or in comedy that you just will not touch?
Everything's case by case, and usually I have to run it by my wife and see what she thinks about it. So yeah, everything is every role is case by case.
Okay.
Yeah, because I gotta go home. I gotta go home to my wife, and I gotta go home to my parents. So anything that make them look crazy, I can't do it.
I hear you. I haven't seen this show, but I am surely going to look it up. The HBO hit television show Insecure.
You've never seen Insecure?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit.
You never saw that?
No, I haven't. I have not seen it. And I said, once I read your bio, I said, I've gotta look. That sounds like it was good. So
it's one of the greatest Black TV shows of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the one. That show was a show that redefined, I think, Black women, and it made the everyday girl more. The representation of the everyday girl, I think, was super cool because they had the struggle story where sometimes as a Black woman you don't fit in. Like this world, especially living in LA, it's just a tough place to fit in as a woman because everybody are transits. Everybody's like is coming from other places, and so for her to highlight the authenticity of somebody born and raised in LA and the dating life of it and the ups and downs, and then go from that to getting married. I think it's like a super dope thing.
Okay, well,
and it's my first time working on set where everybody was black. I ain't never seen that before. I tell you, everybody with like craft service, lighting, makeup, like everybody behind the camera, it was just black and amazing.
So listen, I also read that you won an Emmy.
I did.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Can I? Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
congratulations too.
Thank you very much. I did this cool show on CNN called United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell. He's the host. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like a travel show where you talk about all the political stuff that's happening in real time. And so this is when I did it. It was actually peak. I'm gonna say Cheeto Jesus. That's the name I'm gonna give him. I'm not gonna say his name on public platform. Cheeto Jesus. I just got elected. Basically everybody he didn't like, we did an episode on. We did one on Muslims in America. We did one on immigration. We did one on gangs in Chicago. We did one on the Dakota Access Pipeline with the Native Americans, and we did that. Man, we had so many good ones, and it literally changed my life. It changed my view of the world, and I'm face to face with all the things that people who don't know us well as people. I'm in face to face with all that stuff, so I have such a unique perspective. And like the one that kind of stood out the most was when we did one on gangs in Chicago, and at the time. They took $200 million out of the education budget in Chicago. $200 million out of the education budget, and then gave all the cops like a 5-10% raise. And we were interviewing these people, and this one lady was like, their grandson was hanging out with his best friend, and his best friend was like, I took art class, and the kid was like, what's art? They didn't have art programs in their school.
Wow.
So as much as people want to blame and say Chicago was just a jungle, like it is a jungle, but there's a reason behind it. But usually in this country, we do a great job of blaming victims.
Right.
So the people who are really responsible for it don't ever have to be accountable for it. So yeah.
Right. Where can we see that show?
It's on CNN. It's currently, I think it's on CNN. They might be on season 3. Oh, wow. But yeah, it's called United Shades of America.
United Shades of America. Okay, everybody, we've got some stuff we got to catch up on. We got an HBO show, we got a CNN show. Well, you did mention the Nickelodeon, right? Yeah. Cousins for Life project.
Yeah, we did 20 episodes. It's not on right now. I'm sure you probably go to Nickelodeon to find it. But I'm currently on a show called Partners in Rhyme with MC Light, which I'm excited about. We started out on the all black streaming service. And now we are on WeTV.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, my auntie hit me up. So I saw you on TV, boy. So I guess the show is doing well.
Chris mentioned that you did a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, I did.
And you got to tell me about the Super Bowl commercial, because I thought I was paying attention, but I guess I wasn't.
Yeah, it was Uber Eats with Trevor Noah when he ate a glass, because Uber Eats, they deliver now, and I was a part of that. It was a fun commercial.
Oh, wow. And I think you said that you were, you mentioned at the beginning of the show, I think that you were saying that you're going to be a part of something now, the NBA or...
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a commercial that's going to air during the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, now I can say, I know Ron G.
Oh, you'll see it. If you watch the playoffs, you'll see this commercial. I'm pretty sure it's going to be crazy.
Oh, wow. So let me ask you this. So what advice would you give someone that is thinking about going into the world of comedy or becoming a comedian? What advice would you give them?
I would tell them to go to a career fair and stay as far away as possible. Go to college, get you a simple life, get you a job, you know what I'm saying, and just stay there. You have health insurance. You got a better chance of getting married. Yeah, man, you can have a family. Just get a 9-to-5. Stay away from this career, because this ain't for suckers. This is the hardest profession on the planet. Ain't no class. You can take a class, but it's still self-paced. It's like trying to teach somebody how to fight. It's all fun and games till somebody sock you or boo you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this path is. I've been doing this for a long time. This ain't for everybody. And sometimes two people that are good at what they do, they make it look easy. Like Denzel make acting look easy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Acting is hard. Acting is hard. And so But yeah, I would honestly tell somebody like, yo, stay away from it. Like, but if you love it, you have to be a student of life because the long time ago, if you did a late night performance, your life changed. Like you did like a Letterman or a Carson or like one of those late night shows, it would change your life. But now, as a comedian, you got to know how to do stand up. You got to know how to do social media. You got to be a marketing expert. You got to be a director. You got to learn how to cut these videos. You got to learn how to edit these videos. You got to learn how to do all the streaming services. You got to do podcasts. You got to have a comedy night. You got to learn how to act. You got to learn how to do commercials. You got to learn, like, you have to do so much stuff just to be good at and be known for one thing. And it just takes time.
Yeah, we interviewed every year. Chris blesses us and helps us celebrate by bringing on several comedians. And every last one of them, including yourself, that I've interviewed, all said that, it was almost like they were called to that body of work, right?
You can't fake this one.
Right, yeah, because it wasn't like they said, you know what, I'm going to be a comedian. Everybody kind of, for lack of a better word, stumbled into it. And then, they just said, okay, well, I might be good at this. Somebody spoke into their life, same thing. And then they just listened. They were a steward of the craft, and they just listened and applied themselves.
Ain't no auto-tune for comedy.
You're right.
Ain't no band. Is you up there by yourself. You in silence and all your fears. That's it.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where something crazy happened when you were doing stand-up?
Yeah, I think I got fainted during my show. I don't know if he was laughing at me and fainted, or he had a whole medical emergency during my show. And I'm like, should I keep going? I don't know. Like, he was just on the ground. Ambulance came and everything. I was like,
what did you do?
I stood there. We were just talking through it. I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. And y'all don't know. Clearly, y'all don't know what to do either. He was on the ground. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm out here killing these fools, but I'm out here killing them. But yeah, he was okay. I think his sugar got low and they scooped him up.
Yeah. Anybody comes to a comedy show, they better eat. Yeah, better eat.
Gave him some crackers and some juice.
Candy bar.
Yeah, he got a little lightheaded.
I know that freaked you out. It had to.
Huh?
I said, I know that freaked you out. It had to.
Well, almost anything you can think of, I've performed at some of the worst places ever, but I'm prepared. So now, not a lot tripped me up. Not a lot tripped me up.
So when COVID-19 hit, how hard was it for you to pivot? Me and Chris talked about this because, he said, and then he had to pivot to do online shows. How hard was it, or how easy was it for you to pivot?
So the show I mentioned I do on Sundays, we started doing it online. And for me, like I said, you can't be a one-trick pony and you have to be a student of the art. And so for me, I learned how to perform online, and I made most of my money during quarantine off doing corporate Zoom shows. So, everybody was home. Yeah. So I was doing corporate Zoom shows. So I would get referrals from like really large corporations, and they would refer me to other companies, and I would perform for the employees and made some good money. I actually made more money doing that than I did live. Them little live shows be like $20. I was paying my mortgage with the Zoom shows. I was like, this is stupid. I ain't going back outside no more. That's it.
I had some people that they were just so upset about COVID and having to change. Some people are not good with change, right?
Yeah.
Most
people.
And they needed to read the book "Who Moved My Cheese." I love that book. Mm-hmm. But they just weren't. They were paralyzed, right? Because they just, they could not deal with change, and they didn't want to pivot. Thus, they left out. And I was telling my daughter, I was like, the pandemic is not bad for everybody.
Oh, I agree.
And if you're adaptable and you're able to pivot, and go with the times and the different things that happen, you're going to be okay. You'll make it.
Yeah. In my future State of the Union, I'm gonna talk about how 2019 was a reminder that have your little fun, but God don't care nothing about your plans.
Right.
And then 2020 was all your plans are trash, and you need to do something different. That's what 2020 was. God was like, all right,
that's a good analogy.
Whatever you think you gonna do, you about to see the receipt for it. If you marry somebody because they got a little money, but you ain't really love them, and their restaurant closed down, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
complain and say all men are trash and now you ain't going on no dates and you don't like your company either, who you gonna blame? You know what I'm saying? And then 2021 was all right. Hopefully you leaned in what you said you was gonna do different, and now you got to stick to it. That's what 2022 is. 2022 is sticking to the thing that you're supposed to do different. Because it's still some people still trying to live like it's 2019, and this ain't the same world. This world's different. This ain't 2019. How you
And
manage your
you are
life,
so
your
right.
family, your friends. You got to manage everything different now.
Yeah, you are so right. You are so right. Well, my last question for you is, what's next for Ron G? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years, I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a movie star. And I will be the guy in Hollywood. I will be the guy doing huge blockbuster movies. Me and my wife are probably going to travel and do relationship talks all across the nation and the world, selling books. And yeah, I'm going to have my own TV show as well. And I already wrote my show, and it's just a matter of time. Everything else is just
Oh, wow.
it all coming to life.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's happening. It's happening now, but
Right,
it's going
right,
to be a thing.
right. Well, I am just so proud of you, Ron. We're connected for life.
Hey, and ain't nothing you can do about it. You're stuck.
And then
You're stuck with me.
I really thank you for being with us and celebrating our 13 years of being in business. I don't take this lightly at all. You're a very busy young man, and you said yes. And you were committed to keeping your word. And I just really, really, really appreciate it and say thank you to the bottom of my heart.
No, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, let me ask you one more question, because you were saying that you and your wife travel and do relationship talk.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's very important. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So we actually have it's not an official podcast, but a show we do every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, called Q&A with Bay, Couples Couch. And every week we tackle a different topic that usually goes on in relationship, usually something that we done argued about, and now we feel qualified to talk about it. And now we started it during quarantine, because our first year of marriage we was 6 months outside, and then we got locked up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most of it was during lockup. I call it lockup. And yeah, we just started talking about our ugly on our live, and it just turned into something else. So now I be out hanging out, and people be asking me relationship advice in the streets. I'm like, wait, I'm off. I'm out here trying to live. I'm trying to get some produce, and you over here asking me life-changing questions right now. So that's what it is. But we live a good life, man. And like I said, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do Q&A, and we talk about, all the ugly and unspoken things that happen in a relationship.
Right. And I appreciate you sharing, because a lot of times, Ron, people don't have that. A lot of times when people get married, they don't have a roadmap. There is no roadmap to marriage. There's no roadmap to parenting, right? And just because your parents were successful, you don't know everything your parents went through to make that relationship work. And I just really appreciate, I was once married. I made it 8 years.
8? I like how you held up 8 fingers. So I didn't know what 8 was without it. She said, I was married 8 years. 8 of them.
And now that I'm older and more mature, there's just some things I did not know. And I'm going to tell you this, the one question I asked myself is, at the time that I got married, was I ready? And the answer to that is no, because I really and truly believe, now that I'm on the other side, I really and truly believe that you need to take time out to work on you before you try to join union with somebody else. Now, you're never going to get it perfect, but you got to work on you to a point where you're able to bring that person in, and the things that they do or do not do don't affect your identity. Let me put it like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is so important. And I really appreciate you and your wife being open and sharing the information that you all share, because I wish I had that, right?
Yeah.
When everybody around you was broken, you know what I mean? You need somebody that's whole or trying to be whole to be there to give you advice. And I think that is so important.
Yeah, and I think we learned too. And I met my wife. I wasn't completely whole. I was borderline depressed and a little PTSD. But I think when you meet somebody who has enough grace and love in their heart, and when you come from something, you can produce it. When you
Amen.
come from love, you can produce love. You come
That's
from
right.
toxicity. I can't say it. Toxicity.
Yeah.
Toxic. You know what I'm talking about. Toxic. When you come from toxicness, you're gonna reproduce that. So it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to get love out of somebody who ain't never had it or
Yeah.
experienced it or seen it. So
Right.
but also you have to be what you say you want as well. You know,
Amen.
so my wife's love was big enough for me to be depressed, for me to
Mm-hmm.
have ups and downs with my career, and
Mm-hmm.
me to try to figure this stuff out while she's in my space. You know,
Right.
everybody ain't built for this. Some people need you to be perfect when they meet you, and then that
Right.
still ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? So the
That's true.
same grace and love she extended to me, I have to extend to her as well. So you know,
Right.
we have our days. You know, we have our little moments.
Yeah, you're human, but you're mature enough to say that, and that's what I was trying to get at, and you're mature enough to say, sometimes I miss it, sometimes I miss the cue,
Yeah.
she's really trying to tell me this, and sometimes I miss it, but you're man enough, you're mature enough to admit that, and then share that with other people, and I really appreciate you all. I really think that's a great thing. And I,
Man.
and I hope. Where did you say people can see or hear the
On
podcast?
my Instagram, at the bottom, comedian Ron G, comedian
Okay.
RONG. Yeah, I feel like having amnesia, knowing when to come home, and leaving your ego. Don't bring your ego to the party are the three things you need in order for a relationship to work.
Say it
Knowing
again.
knowing when to come home,
Uh-huh.
uh,
No
uh,
ego.
no ego, to not take anything personal, and amnesia. You gotta
And
learn how to
that's
forget stuff. You gotta forget some stuff. You can't take it. You can't hold on to it. It's gonna
smart
make your heart
advice.
sick.
Smart advice. I
It's
hope the
gonna make
men
your
are
heart sick.
listening.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, we thank you so much. I'm gonna get you to hold on. Don't hang up.
I'm
I'm
not.
gonna end the show. But thank you so much, everybody. This is Tina Dawson. I'm the owner of True Blue Designs. This is
Hey
part
Tina.
two. This is part 2 of our 13-year anniversary celebration. And we will see you next week, same time, same place. Good night.